Very warm welcome to one and all. My name is Manendra C. Jadeja. I welcome you all and I thank you all for taking out your precious time for this webinar. Let me start by giving a small introduction about my organization, Faber Fashion Private Limited. Faber Fashion Private Limited was established in year 2000 with a vision to serve the textile and clothing industry. Over a period of 18 years, Faber Fashion has established a name for itself in the textile and clothing industry. The value-added services that we provide to our clients are B2B marketplace, market intelligence services, brand building services, recruitment services, market campaigning services, news and knowledge providing services. Let me give a small introduction about myself. My name is Milendra C. Jadeja. I basically belong from market research and consulting industry. I have an experience around 7 to 8 years in different verticals, automobile, textiles, chemicals, to name a few. Currently, I am right now looking after the market intelligence department in textile in Faber to Fashion Private Limited. So let's begin with the topic of presentation, which is athleisure and how it will shape the future of apparel. Let me just give you a brief about the flow of the presentation. We will start by introducing the topic. Then we'll move on to the global athleisure market, wherein we'll discuss about the market size, the market trends, the reason for the growth. Then we'll be discussing about how the current trend has affected the performance of prominent brands. Post that, we'll discuss about major suppliers, the major supplying countries for this particular market. Then we'll be discussing about the target markets, which are the main consumers for athleisure and which will be the main target markets in coming years. Then we'll be discussing about the export-import dynamics of those markets and along with the tariff and non-tariff barriers. And lastly, we will conclude the topic. Post that, we will have a question answer session wherein you can put down your questions and to me, and I'll be picking up questions and answering my answers to your questions. So let's begin with the presentation. Athleisure is a recent trend which has come up in recent years. It's a term which has been coined in recent past. But exactly what is athleisure? So to answer that, according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, the official definition of athleisure is casual clothing designed to be worn both for exercising and general use. It is believed that this particular trend has came about from the fact that people could wear them for multiple occasions without having to change, which meant a greater convenience for them. In particular, it is believed that this trend has been started from women wearing yoga pants and leggings outside the gym in their day-to-day life. Now, let us discuss about the global athleisure market. The global apparel footwear market was estimated to be around $1.7 trillion, out of which the market share of athleisure was approximately 9.8% in the total market. The global athleisure market was approximately around $166 billion in 2017 and is projected to reach $333 billion by 2023, growing at a CAGR of 12.8%. Having discussed the global market size and the forecast numbers, now let us discuss the main reasons behind anticipated growth. The first and the foremost, rising millennial population, which is the main target audience for athleisure, in particular in emerging economies such as China, India, and other Latin American countries. Increasing disposable income and per capita apparel expenditure in emerging economies. Increasing influence of social media and influencers. Health and fitness influencers are getting lots of traction through social media. These influencers are getting sponsorships from activewear brands, and hence activewear brands are getting their hands on large relevant audience to them. By this way, brands get access to broader audience at cheaper cost. Inclination of consumers are growing towards health and fitness. Millennials and Generation Z wants to display the best version of themselves on the internet. Fitness has become a new lifestyle for this generation. In addition to that, the preference of consumers is increasing towards comfortable, easy to wear, convenient, stylish, and functional clothes. More and more employees are also accepting athleisure as office wear. However, this trend currently is prevailing for majorly in Western countries. Last but not the least, government incentives and support programs are also boosting to boost the sports industry are also favoring this particular market. To cite a few examples, the next three Olympics will be held in Asia. Qatar is next in line to host the FIFA World Cup. China will host the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. In addition to this, the Chinese government is aiming to establish $813 billion sports industry by 2025, in addition to its investments to promote fitness across the country. Now let's see how this brands has affected the performance of the brands. We have considered four brands for this analysis, which has strong market presence in US, which is the biggest market for athleisure. Nike and Adidas has the highest market share in the sportswear market, owing to their wide product portfolio and wide geographical presence. The net revenues of majority of sports brand has been increasing from last 5 years. For example, the revenues of Nike and Adidas has increased by a CAGR of 6.3% and 7.9% from 2013 to 17 respectively. Most of this revenue shares is coming from North America, followed by Western Europe and Greater China respectively. For example, 47% of Nike's revenue came from North America, followed by Western Europe and China with a share of 19% and 13% respectively in 2017. The Nike's revenue from China has grown fastest among all the geographies with a CAGR of 11.6% from 13 to 17. However, for Adidas, 28% of their revenue came from Western Europe in 2017, followed by North America with a share of 20.9% and China with a share of 18.5% in 2017. Again, the revenue for China has been growing fastest for Adidas with a CAGR of 18% from 2013 to 17. In terms of operating segments, footwear is the biggest revenue share for all the major brands, and the apparel segment has been growing significantly year on year. Hence, we can clearly understand that majority of brands has been encashing this new trend. Majority of their revenue is coming from North America, and China is the fastest growing market for them. Having discussed about the major brands, now let us explore their supply network. Majority of sportswear brands have their garment suppliers from Asia Pacific, which has an average share of 75% in total garment suppliers of these brands. In Asia Pacific, majority of these brands have their garment suppliers from China and Vietnam, which has an average share of 30% and 20% respectively in the total garment suppliers of these brands. However, the higher minimum wage rate of China as compared to Vietnam, the depreciation in Chinese currency, and the new anticipated increase in US tariff rates will give an advantage to suppliers in Vietnam. To name a few major suppliers of these brands in China and Vietnam, we have Kunzo Longwy Apparels Company Limited, Viet Thanh Garment Corporation, Unipex Company Limited, Hang Long Garment and Service Joint Stock Company, ESQL Garment Manufacturing Company Limited, and many more. Hence, we can clearly establish from here that Asia Pacific and in particular China and Vietnam is the main sourcing hub for athleisure market. And this brings us to the popular fabric choices for athleisure. Majority of athleisure clothing is prepared using polyester fiber. However, viscose is slowly being preferred for sportswear category. There are two reasons for this. The primary reason is the advantageous properties of viscose, such as softness, shrinkage resistance, absorbency, which is 50% more than that of cotton, better sweat and moisture management properties, durability, luxurious look and feel, and higher screen friendly characteristics. Secondly, due to volatile prices and availability of crude and cotton in current times, viscose is being the next choice for sportswear market. We have provided over here the price trend comparison of polyester staple fiber and viscose staple fiber for last 1 year in Asia Pacific region. The last year's average price for PSF and VSF in Asia regions were USD 1,317 per ton and 1,768 per ton respectively. Higher prices of VSF and the sustainability issues which are right now becoming more and more stringent is the current limitation for its preference as compared to PSF. Now let us discuss about the consumption of athleisure. North America is the biggest consumer of athleisure with a share of around 33% in the global athleisure market. All major brands have around 30 to 40% of its total store outlets in North America. US is the biggest consumer of athleisure in the world with a share of 28.4% in the global athleisure market. In US, athleisures are slowly eating the market of denims. The consumer in US are preferring stretchy pants over denims. Imports of blue jeans into US was at its peak in 2010. However, it has been on declines ever since then. For the first time in the history, US imports of stretchy knit pants exceeded those of blue denim jeans in US in 2017. The North America is followed by Europe with a consumption share of 29%. Asia Pacific has currently a share of 23% in the global market. However, it is forecast to grow fastest among all the geographies at a CAGR of 7 to 8% in next 5 to 10 years. Majority of brands are expanding their store presence in Asia Pacific region to encash the forthcoming opportunity. For example, Adidas announced its plan to open 3,000 more stores in China in next 5 years, expanding from 9,000 to 12,000. China is the second largest consumer in the world and largest in Asia Pacific for athleisure. In China, sportswear sales grew faster than those of luxury goods from 2012 to 2017. This is due to the fact that Chinese consumers aspire to upgrade every aspect of their lifestyles. Hence, fashion-infused activewear with mixed function of sportswear and casual wear has gained immense popularity among them owing to the national fitness wave prevailing in China. Since we have already seen that US is the largest consumer, let us overview the garment import dynamics of the US. US is sourcing 58% of its total imports of garments from China, Vietnam and Bangladesh, where majority of garment suppliers of major brands are based. China alone had a share of 36%, followed by Vietnam with a share of 13% in the total imports of garments by US in 2017. China has the highest number of garment suppliers for majority of brands, which we have already seen in the previous slide. China exported 21% of its total garment exports to US for the year 2017. Vietnam is next to China in the number of garment suppliers for majority of brands. Vietnam exported 41% of its total garments to US for year 2017. However, the new second round of tariff proposed by US for Chinese imports will have a major impact on this dynamics. Having understood that China and Vietnam are the major exporting market for athleisure, let's understand the tariff dynamics for both the countries. Overall, the tariff rates on imports of woven garments from China and Vietnam are less as compared to the same on knitted garments. The tariff rates on imports of garments from China and Vietnam to the US are the same for both the countries. However, the tariff rates on imports of garments to European countries from China are higher as that of Vietnam. Having discussed about the market size, the market trends, the supply and network, export import trends, the tariff rates, the big question that we have is the way forward, how this trend is going to evolve in the coming years. To answer that question, North America is anticipated to continue being the market leader until 2020 with US as the world's biggest market. However, the new changes in the US tariff rates will significantly affect the domestic market. For example, the 10% increase in the tariff on the products such as footwear and clothing machinery, molding machines for shoes, and digital printers will in turn raise the cost of domestic manufacturers and impact the ability to increase made in US products. Chinese exports to US are estimated to be valued at $500 billion, with apparels and footwear accounting for nearly 10% of the overall exports from the nation, which is fulfilling around 50% of the apparel and footwear demands in the US. It is being speculated that the apparel and footwear category will include in the second round of proposed increase of US tariff rates. This can lead to the overall slowdown of the consumption of apparel and footwear products by the Americans owing to the price increase, which indeed will affect the athleisure market negatively. If increased tariff rates are only meant for the Chinese exporters, as the case so far is, other major exporting nations such as Vietnam, Bangladesh, India, and Cambodia may witness a considerable increase in exports as compared to the current level of exports. The regional markets such as North America and Europe are slowly becoming saturated. Higher growth is anticipated in regions such as Asia Pacific, Latin America, and Sub Saharan Africa. Asia Pacific will have the fastest growth among all the regions. Since 58% of total global millennial population is in Asia Pacific, which is the main target audience for athleisure. Out of the total population in Asia Pacific, India has around 440 million population and China has around 415 million population. This population is also projected to grow significantly in coming years. In addition to the growing millennial population, the average per capita expenditure on apparel is forecast to increase from $175 in 2015 to $432 in 2025 in China, and that of $42 in 2015 to $135 in 2025 in India. Over and above this, the attitude of this target audience or this particular population in this country towards fitness and sports is changing. All these factors combined together will boost the athleisure market in Asia Pacific region. The market opportunities in terms of products are going to be in athleisure products with a perfect marriage of function and fashion. Plus size athleisure is going to be a golden spot. In addition, sustainable athleisure will gain popularity in developed countries owing to increasing concerns for sustainability by consumers in these countries. In the end, I would say athleisure is category is not a bubble which is about to burst, but it's a trend which will stay for a while. Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our new market intelligence tool, TextPro, which is the source of the entire information in this webinar. TextPro is a tool which provides all market intelligence information with ready-to-use analysis for decision makers in textile and clothing industry on a single platform. TextPro includes informations on different sections. The sections which are covered under TextPro are raw material prices, export-import data, analysis of brands and retailers, supplier network, store network, country profiles, tariff rates, non-tariff barriers, uh, foreign trade agreements, government notifications, published reports, articles, news. We will have a short video on TextPro. Post that, we will open up the question answer session. You can also request for a free demo by getting in touch with our sales team, or you can request for a demo by dropping down a mail on textpro@5bitofashion.com. Now we will see a small video on TextPro, and post that we will open up the question answer session. So thank you very much once again for your time, and I would like to thank you all on behalf of my organization, and once again, thanks a lot.